What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is Decoding with Cody, and today is December 20th, 2025. 10 or 11 days left in the year 2025. How crazy to say that. And thank you to all people who are going to be joining me tonight on the live stream. Give me a thumbs up in the live stream chat if the volume is working, just so we can get the sound check out of the way. Want to see those thumbs up in the chat whenever those come in. So far, no one. But yeah, so crazy decode today, in my opinion. Lots of stuff to talk about that happened yesterday and the days before that as well. Hello to Coffee Girl. Thank you for that thumbs up. Appreciate that. Hello to Alroman Nations, I guess. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you to User for the thumbs up. Bones Jones and Peggy. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate that. And we're going to give, as usual, a minute or so. Let some people join in. Get comfortable. Grab yourself a cup of tea or coffee, or even though I don't like tea or coffee either one, but whatever you guys like to drink. And hopefully you guys are at home and warm in your homes, enjoying family as we get close to the holidays. Of course, we know what the holidays are really not what they seem to be, but hopefully you guys are at least enjoying yourselves. But yeah, so anyway, we have a lot to talk about that happened yesterday and on the 18th as well. And we may even talk about some other things that happened the week before that. So hello to Lucia. Hello to Meatball. Hello to Susan. Hello to Kimberly. Hello to Matthew. And hello to Susan. I already said hi to Susan, but hello to you again, Susan. But yeah, I appreciate you all. And don't forget to hit those like buttons if you guys enjoy the content. That's always greatly appreciated. But yeah, we got 58 of you in here. So let's just get into starting to talk about the info that I have to share here. Again, this decode's pretty interesting, guys, and it's pretty clear what this is going on here. I just take what the world stage gives me, and I try to decode the best I can and try to hit the main topics. And this seems to be the main topic. So in this video, we're going to talk about waking up. It's almost as if the world stage is telling us that it's time to wake up and wake up to the times that we are in, of course. And a lot of stuff going on with John Cena just retiring, with The Last Time Is Now, like a Revelation type theme. And then we get this Judgment Day fight. And then we get the Fire and Ash Avatar movie. We get a plane crash. And if you think about a plane crash, it's the collapse of a plane, right? I'm not talking in this reference. I'm not referencing it as an airplane. I'm referencing it as a plane of reality collapsing, right? I've talked about this before, but I think airplane crashes are about a plane crash, like a plane of reality is collapsing, a whole dimension is collapsing, right? That's kind of what a plane crash represents. Well, I guess I better start off by talking about what happened on the 18th, and then we'll talk about what happened on the 19th and how it all ties into the same theme that I've actually talked about many times with Donnie Darko. It's also going to be a topic here. But let's first just go over what happened firstly on the 18th, because this has happened the day before yesterday. We had in the news the death of a NASCAR driver, a famous NASCAR driver. Him and his family died in a plane crash. So what a sad story. Hopefully, sometimes I wish these stories were all just completely fake, because I hope a whole family I hope a whole family with a baby did not die in a plane crash, but we never really know what's really real and not. But so we got this theme of plane crashes, and this connects to Donnie Darko, but we also have this theme of cars, and we have Biff, right? So let me just touch on this guy for a minute. Greg Biffle, okay? Well, his nickname was the Biff. And as soon as you guys hear that, you guys know exactly who I'm talking about, right? We're talking about Biff in Back to the Future. Let me just pull him up real fast. Biff Tannen, right? So we have this guy going down in a plane crash, but he was a NASCAR driver. And think about Back to the Future. It's about a car that travels. This is Mercury. It's all about Mercury. Widow's son did a great video on how it was his Mercury birthday when this happened. It was just crazy. So if you guys want to check out his channel, I'll reference the channels later on, I think. But the point here is that this guy, who's nicknamed the Biff, he died in a plane crash, and he was a race car driver. So we have a race car, we have the car, and we have the plane. And so there's a guy named Biff Poggi playing the interim head coach at Michigan, somebody says in the chat. Hold on, let me look that up. There's really a guy named Biff Poggi. Look at this, guys. Biff Poggi is the interim coach of Michigan University. He was promoted just a few days ago after the firing of Sharon Moore for an assault on, I think, a student. But look at this, guys. This just happened right before Biffle died in a plane crash. The coach that just took over for the fired coach is Biff Poggi. And look at his first name, guys. Francis Xavier. Now, who's Francis Xavier? Francis Xavier is the founder of the Jesuits, right? But his name is Francis Xavier Biff Poggi. So we'll come back to him later in the stream, but a great addition from Matthew in the chat that this just happened. Like, this guy literally just became the interim head coach right before Greg Biffle died. Yeah, like let's read when he became head coach here. Hold on. During the 2025 season, on December 10th, Biff Poggi was named the interim head coach after Sharon Moore was fired. So that was just literally 10 days ago. 10 days ago, okay? And he was coaching at Charlotte. And again, here's your Charles Charlotte connection again. So we're going to get back to this, guys. We are going to get back to this Biff Poggi thing. Maybe I'll have to do a whole separate decode on this. But the point of this decode is not to talk about Biff, to be honest with you. But anyway, what are the odds? Biff Poggi becomes the coach after another coach is fired, and then Biffle dies in a plane crash. Now, Biff Tannen is modeled after Donald Trump, right? But look at the real name of the actor who plays Biff Tannen. Look at his real name, guys. Francis. I just showed you the coach that just took over. His name was Francis. So they even have the same real name. Again, this is the guy who played Biff, and the coach Biff. His name is Francis as well. So and again, remember, we just had this year the death of Pope Francis. Francis means free man. And Pope Francis' birthday was just a few days ago. So it makes sense why these Francis and these Biffs connections are popping up. But again, we know that all this stuff is happening simultaneously. All these riddles, all these things happening on the world stage. are happening simultaneously and connected to each other. So yeah, but anyway, let's get back to Greg Biffle. So Greg Biffle dies in a plane crash on December 18th. The next day was a huge day, December 19th, yesterday. Okay. So let's just jump to the slides because I think I have everything kind of together here. So just remember, if anyone getting into this decode, if you're watching from now on, remember Biffle, the NASCAR driver, he died in a plane crash on December 18th. The next day, December 19th, we had all these events going on. Okay, let me just go over each event separately, and then we're going to connect everything together. Okay. The first event was the big fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. Okay, in Miami, Florida, where Trump's big with Florida, right? So first off, Judgment Day. They called this. Why in the world did they call this fight Judgment Day? It's just weird. Okay. Again, it's weird. It doesn't make sense to me really why they called it Judgment Day. I mean, you can come up with theories like it was Jake Paul's judgment time to see if he was good enough fighter. I don't know, but either way, they called it Judgment Day. That's the point. And so this is Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul, the influencer, the YouTuber who became a boxer, who's not really a boxer, against a real boxer who's going to knock his lights out. Okay, that's basically what you get here. And that's what ended up happening, guys. The real boxer, he knocked the fake boxer's lights out. Okay, and we're going to get to that. But on the same day as Judgment Day, the fight, you had the release of James Cameron's Avatar. Think about Avatar, guys. Simulation, being in an avatar in reality. Our bodies are avatars. Our spirits are literally, again, our bodies are vessels for our spirits. And so this movie, guys, you got Judgment Day and you have Avatar, like an avatar. And remember, in the movie Avatar, the main character, the male character, is Jake. Okay, the main character in the Avatar series. Let me just pull it up. Jake Sully. So this is the main character in the Avatar movies, Jake. Okay, again, and Jake is not far off from Snake and Wake. So we're going to talk about Wake Up, but Jake is one letter off from Wake, which is why I think this name is being used. But what are the odds? And yeah, we're going to maybe talk a bit about Jake the Snake. There's a few Jake the Snakes to talk about as we get farther into the decode. But so here's what's the odds, guys. Let's just keep building this case of how this is. What are the odds, right? So you have Jake Paul fighting on Avatar release date, and the main character of Avatar is Jake. Okay. On that same day, it was Jake Gyllenhaal's, otherwise known as Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal's 45th birthday. And let's throw another Jake in here. Jake Plummer, a football player. Okay, again, follow the names, guys. You don't even need to follow the numbers. Just follow the names, and you'll see how everything is rigged. Okay. This guy, Jake Plummer, he's a football player. He's retired now, but look at his birthday, December 19th. December 19th. So this guy's birthday was also yesterday. So this is a different guy. Okay, so you have Jake Paul fighting on this day. You have Jake in the movie Avatar. You have Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. And you have Jake Plummer, a football player. All born, all these Jakes aligning with yesterday. All about Jake, okay? What are the odds of that? Just ask yourselves, what are the odds that Jake Paul is fighting on? And notice that they labeled the fight just Jake. They didn't call him Paul, right? Why didn't they use his last name? Because this guy, his last name is Joshua. So they used his last name here. But why did they decide to name it Jake versus Joshua? Well, because they wanted you to emphasize the Jake, not the Paul, but the Jake. Okay, that's the point, because they wanted you to see the riddle with Jake Gyllenhaal. Okay, they also wanted you to see the riddle with Jake Sully from Avatar. So, is Jake? I didn't even look that up, guys. Is Jake Jake name origin? Hold on. I mean, of course, Jake comes from Jacob, but somebody in the chat was saying it might also come from Jack or John. So that's also intriguing. We just had all the John stuff. But yeah, Jake, right? You have Drake. It means supplanter, right? So that comes from Jacob, of course. But excuse me. Anyways, we had yesterday was all about Jake, right? Jake Paul, Jake Sully, and Jake Gyllenhaal and Jake Plummer. But yesterday was also the closest approach of Comet 3I Atlas. I don't know if you guys can see it very well, but down there on the bottom right, I have an article that says 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth December 19th. So if we build a narrative here, we can see that there's something very apocalyptic building, end of the world, a judgment day theme. First of all, what is Donnie Darko about? This is Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday yesterday, right? Jake Gyllenhaal plays Donnie Darko, and Donnie Darko gets told by the rabbit that the world is going to end. Okay, so there's that connection. Avatar, Fire and Ash, right, is about judgment, the end, like fire and ash. Same thing with this fight. It's called Judgment Day, right? And 3I Atlas is a comet. Now, there's a lot of theories that how the world might end, right? There's a lot of different ways that people think the world might end. But, one of a common theme is a comet hitting the Earth, right? So you have all of these different themes aligning for yesterday. And it's pretty wild, really. And it all revolves around Jake, okay? But yeah, I mean, Susan in the chat mentions that December 21st every year kicks off the 3 days of darkness, Darko, right? And who won the fight last night, guys? The dark complected fighter, right? This is the Darko, okay? Even though this guy's name is Jake, you would think that he would align with Jake Gyllenhaal, which he does, but the reason that this guy is the winner is because Joshua, it's kind of like Joshua is the blackout, right? He is the darkness, right? And dark versus light, right? This is kind of the theme here. But somebody in the chat also saying Joshua means Yeshua. Yes, exactly. This is a Jesus connection because Joshua, look at this. The name Joshua comes from the name Yeshua. Notice how Joshua equals 7488. Notice how the word Yeshua, Jesus. I mean Jesus. Jesus equals 74. So Jesus equals 74, Joshua 74. And again, Joshua is connected to the name Jesus, So yeah, you have that theme there. I forgot to mention that, there's a lot of things I could mention, but let me just try to keep it on point here. So again, Donnie Darko, the end of the world, Avatar, Fire and Ash, like apocalyptic sounding, right? Judgment Day is the boxing match. Think about boxing, guys. Box. Well, we're in the time of Saturnalia. Let's get into Saturnalia for a second because it's worth mentioning. We're in the time of Saturnalia, which generally runs from the 17th to the 23rd of December. So Saturn, think about the cube or a box, right? Saturn cube, right? Think about how Saturn is essentially it looks like a box, right? It's Saturn's cube, the black cube, the black. So again, the black guy, he wins yesterday. And it's in a boxing match, a box, a cube. Okay. It's perfect to have a boxing match during Saturnalia. Okay. It's perfect. There's no more perfect sport to connect to Saturn, in my opinion, than boxing. It literally has a box in it. Okay. So think about that as we're going through as well, that Saturn is a big part of this. Yeah, it's clear that a boxing match is the perfect sport to have during Saturnalia. Yeah, there's more I could say with that, but let's get back on track. All right, so now that we know that all these Jakes were happening, Jake Gyllenhaal, Jake Sully from Avatar, Jake Paul fighting, right? Well, as I said, Jake Paul got knocked out. He got his lights knocked out, okay? I've been talking about blackouts. So if this isn't another theme for a blackout, I don't know what is. Maybe it's a possible Christmas blackout. I don't know. But the point is, the black guy, he knocks out the white guy, right? In a boxing match, like the black cube of Saturn, okay? It's pretty clear. But he got rocked. Here's the punch that knocked him out. He didn't get fully unconscious, but he got his lights, he got his bell rung, okay? He got drilled, okay? You can see it here. His jaw is literally breaking right here, right? That's not fake. His jaw's breaking. He got drilled. So, and again, this guy, Joshua, was 6'6", and Jake Paul is 6'1". There's a big size difference here. Funny enough, there was a movie that was released yesterday called David, and it was about David and Goliath. Look at this. Shout out to my buddy over at The Illusion, who has already talked about most of this stuff. But we talked about the movie, the David movie. He talked about this. I guess he already knew about it. But look at what movie came out yesterday, guys. David versus Goliath. And think about how yesterday Jake Paul was like he's very small, guys. I mean, let me just show you a picture of Jake Paul height compared to Joshua. I mean, here's a good example, right? Here's the 6'6" Joshua. Here's the 6'1" Paul, right? So a David and Goliath type theme, right? So is it a joke that the movie David and Goliath came out yesterday? I think so, right? But what happened, guys? David did not win. Okay, so they're switching it up on us. They did a little switcheroo yesterday, thanks to another subscriber. Who was it that shared that with me? Another subscriber, Maggie McCombs. She shared that yesterday was National Underdog Day. See, it's the third Friday in December, which was yesterday, National Underdog Day. Well, the underdog did not win yesterday on Underdog Day. How fitting that it would be fitting if the underdog had won. But I'm telling you, there's no chance that Jake Paul was going to be beat this guy. Sorry. Anyways, let's go from all the Jake stuff that happened yesterday, and let's connect this to the theme of Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal, and how it's about waking up. Okay, let's just, because remember, you get knocked out. After that, you're going to have to wake up, right? So maybe it's like kind of symbolic. First of all, you got to kill your old self. You got to knock your ego, your old self, surrender it to God, right? I'm not saying that's what these people are saying, but I'm just saying in our own lives we can take this lesson and turn it for our own lesson, not what they're telling us. But yeah, you got to kind of sacrifice the old man and to be born again, right? So waking up. But look at this. Look at how crazy this is. So yesterday, Jake Paul got knocked out, right? On Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. Jake Paul, his nickname is the Rooster. What does a rooster do? Guys, what does a rooster do? What is the main thing you think of when you hear a rooster? Well, the rooster, it wakes you up, okay? Cock-a-doodle-doo, right? So Jake Paul comes in yesterday on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday, and he's nicknamed the Rooster. A rooster is meant to wake you up. And there's a reason why they wanted you guys to, or wanted not you guys, but everyone to see the rooster, the waking up, because this happened on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. Well, in the movie Jake Gyllenhaal, guys, what is the first thing that the rabbit Frank says to Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal? What does he say? In the film, the first words that Frank the Rabbit says to Donnie as Donnie is sleeping is "wake up." Go watch the movie, guys. The first words spoken to Donnie by the rabbit is "wake up." Simply that. Wake up. And then Donnie wakes up and he goes down the stairs and he goes and sees the rabbit, and the rabbit tells him that we have 28 days to live till the world ends. So think about this, guys. Think about this. This is so big. I want you guys to understand how crazy this really is. Jake Paul gets knocked out on Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake is one letter off from the word wake. You just replace the J with the W. It's literally one letter off. In the movie Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal gets told as Donnie Darko to wake up. The rooster is Jake Paul. Okay? But look at this. This proves it, guys. This proves it, I believe. Because look at the gematria of the phrase wake up. It equals Jake Paul in two ciphers. So am I reaching on this? Am I reaching on this? No, I don't believe so, because the gematria tells us that Jake Paul equals wake up. He's the rooster, which wakes us up. He's fighting on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday, and Jake Gyllenhaal is told in the movie to wake up. And he gets told that the end of the world is coming. Well, why is this match called Judgment Day? Okay, think about it. Why are they calling this match Judgment Day? Why on earth are they calling a boxing match that phrase? It only makes sense in connection with Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday and Donnie Darko. It only makes sense that way, okay? But it gets way, way bigger, because remember, I told you that the same day as this match, the wake up, the AI, or the 3-Eye Atlas, makes its closest approach to Earth. But guys, I've been saying this for months. I've never did a video on 3-Eye Atlas, but I've been saying this when I've talked about 3-Eye Atlas. I've been saying what 3-Eye Atlas is about for months now, and I didn't even know this stuff I'm about to present to you. This was just a hunch. I was saying that the reason they call this 3-Eye Atlas is because it means the third eye at last. In other words, open up your third eye at last. Wake up. It's basically what this is saying, guys. Wake up. Wake up to the deception. Three eye, the third eye at last. Wake up at last, guys. That's what this is saying. I don't even know if this is real or not. I don't care if this is real. I don't believe anything about the space stuff. But all I care about is the symbolism. Why are they calling it third eye, three eye? Now, with what I just told you about Jake Paul and the wake up theme on December 19th, why is it that the comet third eye is closest to Earth on the same day as this wake up match? Okay. Well, let's explain this. And how does Fire and Ash Avatar connect to this? How does this connect to this, right? Look at the woman in the Avatar movie. Look at her line in the middle of her eyes. You see this red line? This is a third eye clue. The third eye is directly in the forehead, right? The pineal gland also. But look at how the red line is going directly down her forehead, right over her third eye, okay? And she is the third eye on the cover. Now, bear with me for a second. You see two rows of people here, two rows of people, and then you see her above on the cover, right? Again, this is another symbolism of the two eyes, the two rows. Okay, picture this woman as the left eye and these people as the right eye. And then this is the pineal gland, again, the third eye. So there's multiple symbolism. There's multiple symbolism on this for the third eye, okay? And why do you have third eye Atlas making its closest approach to Earth? Now let's read about the third eye. In spiritual traditions, fire is fundamentally associated with the awakening and the visionary power of the third eye, otherwise known as the Ajna chakra, primarily as a force of purification, guys. Fire and ash, purification, transformation, purifying the earth, God's judgment, right? Judgment day, purifying the earth with. And the third eye is primarily associated with the awakening and the vision, which is associated with fire, which is exactly why this movie was called Fire and Ash. It's the first Avatar movie that has the fire symbolism, okay? This is the burning pineal gland. This is what they're showing here. Now look at the gematria. The gematria tells us, enforces this, this theory, if you want to call it a theory. Look at the gematria, guys. Let me make this bigger so you guys can see this. I just think it's too small. Let me move this over here. Just making it so you guys can see this better. Now look at the gematria, guys. If this doesn't continue to prove that this is the theme, look at the gematria. Jake Paul, right? The theme of this, Jake Paul waking up, right? The pineal gland is about awakening. Jake Paul equals 49, like three eye Atlas. Again, this is the same day that third eye Atlas is making its closest approach. Now look at what in the reduction, look at what third eye equals, 49. Look at what the title of the Avatar movie equals, Fire and Ash. Are you kidding me, guys? All these things equal 49. Fire and Ash, third eye, three eye Atlas, Jake Paul. Fire and Ash equals 85 in the same cipher as awakening. Huh. Again, I showed you right here in traditional traditions, fire is associated with the awakening and is associated with the third eye. I mean, how more obvious can it get? Raise your hand in the chats if you guys think that this is pretty obvious. Like, how is there any question about this stuff? And yeah, we talked about the 77, right? Jake Paul equals 77. Wake up equals 77. 7 times 7 is 49. Okay. So even the 77 connects to the 49, right? You see all these 49s? That connects us to the 77, 7 times 7, okay? But it gets even better, guys. It gets even more crazy. Look at this. The fighter who won and knocked out Jake Paul was AJ. Anthony Joshua is widely known by his primary nickname, AJ. And I'm going to tell you right now why exactly his name is AJ. Look at this. The third eye chakra starts with the letters AJ. Look at this. Ajna chakra. Are you kidding me? AJ. AJ knocks him out. AJ is the third eye. On top of that, guys, the 6th round is when he knocked him out. What is the third eye chakra? It is the 6th chakra. Are you kidding me? AJ knocks out Paul in the 6th round. Like the AJ chakra is the 6th chakra. I mean, again, based off of what I showed you here, and then this, I don't see how anyone can question that. I mean, we make a lot of theories here in these communities, but this seems to be what they're talking about. This is what this is what this was all about. That's why it's 3-eye atlas, third eye, 3-eye, awakening, avatar, fire and ash equals awakening. Jake Paul's nickname is the Rooster, which is about waking up. It connects to Jake Gyllenhaal, who gets told to wake up, right? And then you're telling me that AJ is the first 2 letters of the third eye, right? Chakra. And it's the 6th chakra. And that's why he lost in the 6th round. That's why he knocked him out in the 6th round. Okay. But look at this. Ajna, or I don't even know how you said that. Ajna is all about vision. Vision, guys. Okay. So here's the next slide. Check this out. The guy who got knocked out yesterday, Jake Paul, by AJ, his brother's name is Logan Paul. Logan Paul was there with him at the fight last night. Guys, Logan Paul is a WWE wrestler. And what is the group that Logan Paul, the brother of Jake Paul, is in the WWE? Look at the name of the group, guys. Logan Paul, the brother, is in The Vision. You guys see this? This is the name of their group, The Vision. Look at the symbol for the vision. Guys, look at the symbol here for the third eye chakra. It's the same symbol. Are you kidding me? This is how can anyone deny this? This is literally the third eye chakra symbol, and it's called the vision. And what is the third eye about? It's about intuition and vision. Okay, the group is literally called the Vision. Their symbol is literally the third eye triangle upside down. And take a look at the gematria. 3-eye atlas equals 49. Jake Paul, 49. The group, the Vision, equals 49. Third eye equals 49. Fire and Ash, 49. Again, the show that the movie that came out yesterday, Fire and Ash. Fire and Ash is a reference to the fire that is connected to the third eye. Okay, that's what it is. Vision. What are the odds that his brother, the guy who gets knocked out by AJ, his brother is in a group called the Vision, who have the logo of the third eye? Okay, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. But check this out. So the name of the show was Judgment Day. Now look at the 4 base ciphers of gematria of Judgment Day. Okay, 124, 43, 173, 56. Gyllenhaal. This was on Gyllenhaal's birthday, right? Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. Gyllenhaal equals 43 and 173, like plane crash. Again, what happened one day before all of these events? Okay, what happened one day before all of these events on December 19th? There was a plane crash of Greg Biffle. Okay, Greg Biffle dies in a plane crash. In the movie Donnie Darko, right before the plane crash happens, The rabbit tells Donnie Darko to wake up. Again, Jake, wake up. Now, when the rabbit tells Donnie Darko to wake up, he saves him from the plane crash into his house. And then by the end of the movie, Donnie realizes that he's going to have to die in the plane crash into his house in order to save this plane of existence. So think about that. Donnie realizes he gets saved because he wakes up. But then at the end, he realizes that he needs to sacrifice himself in order for the reality to be returned to the normal reality, okay? So what's the chances that Greg Biffle dies in a plane crash one day before Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday? Remember, last year on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday, there was a plane crash, also in the news, on a football player's property in Buffalo, and that happened last year on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday as well, which was, again, December 19th. Let me just bring that up. It was what was the guy's name? Plane crash. 12/19/2024. Oh man. Yeah, here it is. Plane crash near Buffalo Bills player on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. So you had 2 years in a row a plane crash on or near the birthday of Jake Gyllenhaal, again connecting us to Donnie Darko, where the plane crashes into his house. Now, again, to go back to the gematria, plane crash 43, Gyllenhaal 43, Judgment Day 43. Look at this, guys. So Jake Gyllenhaal equals Judgment Day 124, and his last name Gyllenhaal equals plane crash in 3 ciphers. Well, actually, if you take his last name, it equals Judgment Day in 2 ciphers. If you take his full name, Jake Gyllenhaal, it equals Judgment Day in 1 cipher. So it's perfect, guys. 124. But this all happened in Florida on Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. Well, Florida equals 124, like Jake Gyllenhaal and Judgment Day. But check this out. Jake Paul knocked out by Anthony Joshua, which is what happened. It equals 124 and 173, like Judgment Day. So again, what a crazy coincidence, right? Jake Paul knocked out by Anthony Joshua sums to the 2 numbers in the title of the show, 124, 173. And this ties us all back to the plane crash that happened the day before Jake Gyllenhaal's birthday. But check this out, guys. Look, again, this all goes back to Donnie Darko, Donald Trump, right? The world started waking up when Donald Trump came into office. And don't tell me that's not what happened, because it almost seems as soon as Donald Trump got into office, a lot of people really started. That's when I started to find this stuff, was when Donald Trump took the world stage. So you think Donald Trump's not a vessel for awakening or waking people up? Because it seems to be that whenever he's around, the world gets more obvious. But Donald Trump, okay, his birth, we're going to go from Donald Trump's birth to the birth of Joshua, who won yesterday during Judgment Day. Well, look at this. Donald Trump was 43 years, 124 days old when Joshua was born. Check out the gematria. Check out the gematria of Judgment Day. 124/43. Guys, this guy is the guy who won Judgment Day. And you're telling me this guy was born 43 years, 124 days after Trump, and Judgment Day equals those 2 numbers, 124 and 43. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me, guys. That means this guy was destined to be a part of Judgment Day, the fight, because he aligns with Trump, the most famous figure on the world stage. But look at this. This happened in Florida also, guys. Judgment Day happened in Florida. Well, 124 and 43 is Florida. So it's also perfect. But check this out. So that was the measurement from Trump's birth to Joshua's birth, who won. But let's go from Trump's birth to the loser, Jake Paul. Now look at how many days Jake Paul was born after Trump. And I believe this is why Jake Paul was chosen, because of his date duration. Look at this. 184.81. So it's 184 forward and backwards. If you read the number, for example, guys, if you read this number between Trump and Jake Paul, if you read it forward and backwards, it's 184. And you read it backwards, it's 184. So what's up with the 184? Well, look at what the fight, the purse or the earnings for the fight was reported to be. The purse for the fight was reported to be at $184 million. Of course, guys, 184. What's the odds of that? 184 million. Jake Paul was born 184.81 days after Trump. That's 184 forward and backwards. Now, this number is very special because 184.81 is a prime number and a star number. It's a very special number, guys. Very special. It's the 2,117th prime number. Okay? It's the 56 star number. So the star numbers, guys, remember I've talked about these multiple times, but Donald Trump was born 56 star number days before Jake Paul. And Jake Paul, it connects to Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal, right? Look at the gematria of Donnie Darko, 56. Look at the gematria of Judgment Day, 56. So you're telling me that the guy who's connected to Donnie Darko and Jake Gyllenhaal and the guy who fought in Judgment Day, he was born the 56 starred days after Donald Trump. But here's how I knew, and I don't think this was hard to predict. Anyways, don't count this as a prediction from me because this wasn't even hard to predict. I even the illusion and I knew that Jake Paul was probably going to get knocked out by Anthony Joshua, okay? And I did this decode before, okay? If you go into the illusion stream yesterday, I did this decode before the knockout happened, okay? Now look at how I decoded this. Look how old Donald Trump was on the knockout. He was 29043 days old, okay? I want you to focus on the two numbers here, 29043, okay? Look at this. This is how old Donald Trump was. Look at the gematria of Jake Paul knocked out. It equals 290. And look at what knockout equals, 43. Guys, this is unbelievable. Donald Trump's age, 29043, is the gematria of what happened at the fight on the day that Trump was this age. Jake Paul knocked out, 290. Knockout, 43. Now look at the word knockout. It equals 29 in forward, 43 in reverse. That's the same age as Trump. I said this was going to happen before it happened. I didn't make a post on it. But go back to yesterday's stream on the Illusions channel. You're going to see in the chat, guys, I posted this same info before the fight even happened. And I was right. It was a knockout. It was clear. 2943. That's the gematria of knockout. Okay. This is how I knew there was going to be a knockout, right? It doesn't always happen like that, but it just had to be that way. Okay. Now, remember, we're talking about Donnie Darko, Jake Gyllenhaal, his birthday yesterday. What if I told you that Jake Gyllenhaal played in a movie called Southpaw? So do you guys get the joke here? Southpaw, like Jake Paul, the boxer, and Jake Gyllenhaal played in the movie Southpaw, a boxing movie. And now on his birthday, Jake Paul gets knocked out. It's the same thing, guys. Jake Gyllenhaal, and the movie he played in was South Paul. It sounds like the name Paul. When you say the word Paul, it sounds like the name Paul, right? Let me type it in so you guys understand what I'm saying. When you say the name Paul, it sounds like Paul. Very close, right? Paul. It's very slightly different, okay? It's very slightly different. That's simple as that. But again, the name of the movie that Jake Gyllenhaal, another all, right? He's in the movie called Southpaw, right? And check out the gematria of Southpaw. It equals 33. Well, Anthony Joshua was in his 33rd fight yesterday. So the guy who got the knockout, he was in his 33rd fight. The movie that Jake Gyllenhaal was in is called Southpaw, like Logan Paul, and Southpaw equals 33. A southpaw is a lefty. Okay? A lefty is a southpaw, right? And so you have the right and the left symbolism as well. But yeah, but just wild, guys. Trump being born 43 years and 124 days before Joshua, Judgment Day, 124, 30, 43. Knockout equals 29 and 43. Jake Paul was knocked out when Trump was 29,043 days old. I mean, come on. And again, Jake Gyllenhaal in the movie Southpaw. But this brings me back to the big theme of this year, Charlie Kirk. Remember, in the beginning of the Snake Eyes, I hope I don't have to raise your hand in the chat if I need to go over the Snake Eyes stuff again. I'm sure you guys all know about Snake Eyes, how it predicted Charlie Kirk's shooting. You guys all know that, right? I don't have to go over that again. I hope not. But we're talking about the awakening, right? The third eye, the vision, the fire in the ash, the vision, the AJNA chakra. AJ knocks him out, right? But it reminded me of earlier this year, and shout out to Widow's Son, because when this happened, Widow's Son, he connected Snake Eyes to the third eye because he said the title of this movie, look at what it says, guys. Cage. Think of Saturn. I already talked about how Saturn, we're in the time of Saturnalia. This is a boxing match, like a box, like a cube. The name of the actor who stars in this movie is Cage, like a box, right? But the movie says on the title, it says Snake Eyes, believe everything except your eyes. So it's talking about your two fleshly eyes. You need to, well, again, this is not what this is talking about, but I'm going to turn the Illuminati symbolism upside down and make it, look at it from a biblical perspective. We need to surrender our own vision, our own two eyes to the single eye, right? And Jesus says, if thine eye being single, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the uncorrupted way, right? If thine eye be single, not divided, right? So where Jesus says this, Matthew 6:22, the light of the body is the eye. He's not talking, guys, he's not talking about the two eyes, okay? He's not talking about the fleshly, physical eyes, okay? He's talking about an eye, one eye, okay? And I'm not talking about the Illuminati eye. This is not, I mean, you could say maybe this is why they corrupt that and they use that. But it's not the same thing. We're talking about true vision, Christ, right? If thine eye be single, the whole body shall be full of light, fire, right? Illumination. Let me just go to the King James Version first of all. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. For the light of the body is the eye. If thine eye be single, not double, thine eye, the whole body will be full of light. If your eye is focused on the truth of Christ, singular vision, your body will be full of illumination, light, or vision, okay? So the third eye symbolism is essentially a play on this, right? Again, this is exactly why Logan Paul, the brother, shout out to the Illusion who's in the chat now. He did a great decode on this. But again, that's why Logan, see, you got two brothers, right? Two brothers like two eyes, right? But one of the brothers, not the one that got knocked out, but one of the brothers is in a group called the Vision, who clearly have the third eye. This is the third eye symbol with the triangle and the three. And just look, guys, it's the same symbol, okay? Again, AJ knocks out the rooster. The rooster is about waking up. The AJ is the third eye chakra, AJNA chakra. It's about vision, which is why Logan Paul is in the Vision, right? And that, again, that goes back to the gematria, which tells us another story. Jake Paul 49, 3i is the third eye. Again, how much more perfect, guys? For months, I've been telling people that the 3i atlas is clearly about the third eye. It's clearly 3i, okay? You can't deny it. That's what it is. And it proves it, because why is it that on the day of all of this stuff happening, why was it on the day that all this stuff happened, the fire and ash, the vision, you see the third eye covered up here on this character with the fire, that's the Vision, which is why the leader of the Vision in the WWE, he always says, burn it down. It's fire, okay? Awakening is connected to fire. That's just how it is. That's why when Moses talks to God in the bush, it's a never-ending fire. It's God's never-ending fire, okay? So Jake versus Joshua. But why is it that 3i Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth on the same day as all this stuff is happening, right? And again, wake up, guys. Wake up. Jake Gyllenhaal gets told to wake up. Wake up equals Jake Paul, okay? In 77, guys, let's just go over to the gematria and look at this here. Okay, so 7 times 7 equals 49, okay? This is the big number that I want you. Oh, someone reminded me in the chat, eternal flame. Look at this, eternal flame. Guys, look at that. I knew this would equal 49. Look, eternal flame, 49. But anyway, I was just going to talk. Somebody just wrote that in the chat, and I was like, wait, eternal flame equals 49. But look, 7 times 7 is 49. Okay, so these are the numbers I'm going to focus on. You got your 77 and your 49. Okay, so let's just type in 49 and 77. Let's look at all the words that equals 49 and 77. Look at this. Jacob wrestles with God in Peniel. Wow, that's a perfect addition. Let's thank you to 7-1 who brings this up. Look at this. Jacob wrestles with God in Peniel. Look at this. This is crazy. That's a great addition. That is absolutely crazy, guys. Where did Jacob wrestle with God? Guys, this is absolutely Bonkers. I totally forgot about this whole part. Jake, wrestles with God. Remember, we're talking about a guy whose name is Jake, and his brother is in the vision, in wrestling. Okay, the vision to see the face of God. That's what we need to see, the vision to see the true face of God, not the corruption, but the truth. Now, so if we go back to this, Peniel means face of God, right? But it sounds like pineal, right? I mean, it's not the same word, of course, but it's very close. And yeah, it's just crazy. Wait, AJ Styles, guys. This just hit something. The Illusion just typed in the face that runs the place. AJ Styles is a wrestler. Look. He's going to retire this. So John Cena just retired, but this guy's going to retire this year. His name is AJ Styles. He's a wrestler. He's from North Carolina, of course. Man, I don't want to get off on this right now, but this is huge, guys. He's in a group right now with Dragon Fire, guys. The Dragon Fire. Wow. Okay. Guys, I mean, I was not expecting to talk about AJ Styles, but this is perfect. This is like John Cena had a match with AJ Styles before he retired, and now AJ Styles is going to retire. Wow. AJ Styles is known as the face that runs the place. Look at this. See if I can find it. And look, guys, he's known as the phenomenal one. Like the symbolism is always the one eye in the center. He's known as the phenomenal one. And yeah, he's known as the face that runs the place. Jacob wrestled with God in Peniel, which sounds like pineal, and he wrestled. It means face of God. He wrestled with the. He essentially wrestled in a place that means face of God, right? But before, okay, I got to go over this first. Yeah, Anthony Joshua is AJ, and again, the third eye chakra, the original word for the third eye chakra is AJ. You see this? I guess the Illusion just got in here. He didn't see us talk about this, but the third eye is the AJNA chakra, AJ, and it's the sixth chakra. And AJ knocked out Paul in the 6th round. I mean, how much more perfect does it get than that, guys? AJ knocks him out in the 6th round. The AJ chakra is the 6th chakra. It's it's so clear, man. He hits him right in the face. Jacob wrestles with God's face in the pineal, which is also connected. People say the pineal, right? Let me just go over these numbers first, okay? I mentioned snake eyes. Remember, on the front of the movie Snake Eyes, it says, what happens in the beginning of the Snake Eyes movie? Yeah, the Eye of Providence, guys. We just had a shooting in Providence, Rhode Island. 7-1 is killing it in the chat right now. We just had a shooting. Let me bring up his comment. We just had a shooting at Providence, guys. There is the Eye of Providence. Look. The Eye of Providence, right? We just had a shooting there. Okay? And then we have all of this stuff, guys. We have all this stuff happening. But let me just go over the gematria. Let me show you how this is clearly all about two numbers, 77 and 49. Just look at this. 7 times 7 is 49. Look, consciousness, right, which is another word for awakening. Consciousness equals 49 and 77, okay? Now, Greg Biffle just died right before all this stuff happened, right? Look at what Greg Biffle equals. 77, 49. Jake Paul got knocked out the next day. That equals 77 and 49. Jake Paul connects to Jake Gyllenhaal, who got asked to wake up in Donnie Darko, right? Wake up, Donnie. Right here, wake up, right? Wake up equals 77. I just said that the third eye is connected to the flame or the fire, the eternal. Well, it connects to fire, and fire connects to God's eternal burning bush, right? But look at this. The burning bush is essentially an eternal flame, okay? That's what the burning bush is. It never went out. It didn't consume itself. Eternal flame, 49. The movie Snake Eyes, guys, 49. Look, again, let's talk about Snake Eyes. Look at the gematria of Jake Paul and Snake Eyes. It equals 139 like Jake Paul and 49. Here's your 49 again, like Jake Paul. Are you kidding me? Look how many days the movie was released before the fight. 9996. Now remember what happens in the beginning of Snake Eyes. A boxing match, guys. And again, on the cover, it says, believe everything except your eyes. Again, this is a backwards way of saying, it's basically a backwards way of saying this verse in Matthew 6:22, where it says, if thine eye be single, right? But let's keep going. I told you that Logan Paul, the brother of Jake Paul, he's in a group in the WWE called The Vision. Look at the group's name. The Vision equals 49. Let me just bring that up again so people see. Again, here's the group. The Vision. The Vision, 49. This is in the same cipher, guys, as Revelation. Revelation is essentially the same thing. Revelation means an epiphany. Let's just type in the definition. What is the definition of revelation? A disclosure, right? A surprising disclosing, waking up. What happened yesterday, guys? We got the Epstein files. The disclosure. This is all tied to the Epstein files, of course. And I hate talking about the Epstein files, but I really hate talking about the Epstein files, but this is how this connects. Revelation is a disclosure. Okay, they disclosed, they revealed the Epstein files yesterday, whatever that even means. This stupid story annoys the heck out of me. But the reality is it was a revealing of the Epstein files, okay? All on the same day as this stuff with the wake up, revealing. And if you watch the promos for this fight, they said they're going to shock the world. They're going to shock the world. And let's read Jake Paul's tweet to Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul tweeted this before the fight. He said, "This isn't an AI simulation." I mean, why would you start with that phrase? Look at this. This isn't an AI simulation. This is Judgment Day, a professional heavyweight fight against an elite world champion in his prime. When I beat Anthony Joshua, every doubt disappears, and no one can deny me the opportunity to fight for a world title. To all my haters, this is what you wanted. To the people in the United Kingdom, I am sorry. On Friday, December 19th, under the lights in Miami. Guys, let me explain to you why I think this was in Miami, okay? Miami, I am. Out of the burning bush, God said, I am, right? Right? God said, I am. which is interesting because it also equals Jake Paul and Wake Up, but I am that. I know this isn't the right. Now, I know that this Casey person will get mad at me, but I know this isn't exactly the right translation, but this is the most popular translation. I am that I am, right? Miami. Let me just see something here. But yeah, Miami. It has the I am. Okay. This is why Miami is so important. This is why the fight happened in Miami, because it connects right back to, again, Moses seeing the burning bush, right? Which is the eternal flame. It connects back to all this stuff, guys. So that's the whole point, is I'm talking, basically just letting you guys know that Miami is about the I am, okay? Which connects to the whole narrative. Because the only way you can say I am is by being conscious that you are I am. So that's why consciousness is the only required state that God has us in, right? Think about it. In order to know anything, you have to be conscious first. There's nothing without being conscious. And I'm not talking about being conscious of anything. I'm just saying, in order to know anything, you have to be conscious, right? So this seems to be where all the 4977 comes from, because this is the origin of the word consciousness, which is 4977. Okay. But again, we're not talking about specifically consciousness. We're just talking about the how we all experience our lives is through consciousness. There's not all 8 billion people experience life through the one thing they share is that they're all conscious. Otherwise, they wouldn't know it. No one shares the same ideas, the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same physical body feelings. But everyone on earth, even somebody who's mentally not there, he's still conscious. That's one attribute that every human being shares, is they're conscious. Okay, that's the point I'm making. And that cannot be argued. If you try to argue that, then you're just trying to come up with something that doesn't make sense, because everyone is conscious. Don't tell me you're not conscious right now. You cannot tell me that. You are. You are conscious. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't even know the stream was going on. So going back to that, consciousness, right? You got the 44 and the 79. This is what the whole number I'm talking about here. Again, this is where everything ties together. Revelation, 49. The Vision, 49. Three-Eye Atlas, 49. The name of the movie, Fire and Ash, 49. Third Eye, 49. Crash, we talked about the plane crash. The word crash equals 49. This is a huge number, guys. 49 is the 33rd composite number. And I believe that's why this is so big. Because the 33, guys, 49 is the 33rd composite, okay? But Christmas is on 12/25, right? Well, guess what the number 12/25 is? It's the 49th triangular number. Well, we're almost up on Christmas, aren't we, guys? We get all this stuff with 49s. And it just so happens that the Christmas 12/25 is the 49th triangular number, which is, I believe, is one reason why they chose this number date to be that very special day of the year, Christmas. It all connects to this 49, okay? And think about where the Super Bowl is next year. It's in San Francisco. 49ers. Why do you think they're called the 49ers, other than the fact that they're connected to the gold rush? but it's bigger than the gold rush, guys. Again, the nickname of Jake Paul is the Golden Rooster, the Golden Gate Bridge. We've been talking about the golden ratio. We could talk about the gold rush, but the point is, why is the team called the 49ers? It goes all the way back to Revelation, again, 49, that huge number, which seems to be connected to all these things perfectly, okay? This is why Jake Paul, I mean, what's the odds that Jake Paul equals Greg Biffle? Greg Biffle died one day before Jake Paul lost, okay? And again, I showed you how the third eye is connected to Revelation with 49, right? But yeah, let's get back to, and let's talk about this, guys. Remember how Jake Paul's nickname is the Rooster? Let's go over to Jake Paul and let's type in, but look at what it says here. But let me finish reading his tweet. On Friday, December 19th, under the lights in Miami, live globally on Netflix, The Torch. Guys, The Torch. Flame again, right? Flames. The torch gets passed, and Britain's Goliath gets put to sleep. Interesting, right? You got the I am connection, you got the torch, the flame, and then you got the Goliath connection, of course. We talked about that a bit. But anyway, Logan Paul's nickname is El Gallo. Where's his full nickname? Let me just type it in. Jake Paul nickname. His nickname is the Problem Child, or the Problem Child reminds me of Jacob, who was kind of the problem child in the Bible, right? So that's probably a good connection. But his nickname is El Gallo de Dorado. Look at this. What does that mean? The Golden Rooster. Okay, the Golden Rooster. Okay. Again, roosters are about waking up. Waking up. And what did the Notre Dame Cathedral put on its spire on top of the Notre Dame Cathedral? A golden rooster. A golden rooster, which is on fire, might I add. Remember when the Notre Dame Cathedral caught on fire? So they put this spire on top of the Notre Dame Cathedral in 2023. It's a golden rooster that's on fire. Okay, this is like everything I've been talking about. The rooster is about waking up. The fire is connected to the awakening process as well. And again, when you wake up, you have a fire to share the truth, right? When you wake up for God's true truth, you have this fire to go out every day and wake up and be a fire for God, right? You want to wake up and you want to do the best you can when you truly care and you want to help people. This is why I get on here every day. I love what I do. I love sharing with you guys. I love helping, waking people up. It's a fire, man. It's a fire that's lit in you. This little light of mine, right? I'm going to let it shine. It's a fire, guys. It's not a light bulb. We don't have a light bulb in us. We have a fire, God's fire. It burns, and it burns forever. It never ends. It never consumes itself, because God's true fire, it wants to save. It wants to wake people up to the truth, right? It wants to, the fire of Christ, right? It's deep, it's heavy, it's purifying. And again, it does not go out. This is an eternal flame, truly. And it's always with you when you wake up and you accept everything that Christ is and was and will be. Again, it's just so beautiful, really. Fire, right? Fire is such a beautiful thing, really. And so is water, but fire is so purifying. So yeah, the golden rooster, the awakening. The golden rooster was put on top of the spire on December 16th, 2023. So about 2 years ago. I mean, check that out, guys. From December, look at this. From the time that the golden rooster was put on top of the spire to the match yesterday, 2 years and 3 days. Well, I just had some 23s. Wake up. Jake Paul, wake up equals 23. So Jake Paul was 2 years and 3 days after the golden rooster was put up on the Notre Dame Cathedral. So yeah, I mean, it's so mind-boggling. And again, I showed you guys that I am equals 23. So that's that as well. Big number, really, also. But that 49, man, I'm really, whenever I see something like this, it really reminds me how important the number 49 is. And I think it's that way for many reasons. It's 7 times 7. It's the 33rd. It's the 33rd composite number. It's the gematria of revelation, the vision, eternal flame, consciousness, third eye. Antichrist also equals 49. It's a big number, right? So that's why I think it's also pointing to the Super Bowl, where it's going to be played where the 49ers are. It's going to be in the home of the 49ers, okay? And who's playing the 49ers this week, guys? Good old Philip Rivers, the golden ratio guy I've been talking about. Golden Gate Bridge, golden ratio, golden rooster, Trump's golden age. Lots of goldens. So a few more things, guys, and then we'll start wrapping this up. But remember, John Cena just retired, right? And we're having another fight with with Jake Paul, right? John Cena's phrase is, "You can't see me." More about eyes, right? Seeing. The vision, right? See me. You can't see me. That's what he says. The last time is now. Revelation. Remember, I already showed how John Cena was connected to the Brown University shooting in Providence. And again, Providence is the eye of Providence, right? Eye of Providence. Well, look at that. Eye of Providence has that good old 67 that everyone's talking about. That's interesting. Eye of Providence, though, equals 67. But this stream is not about the number 67, but maybe I'll have to do a separate stream just on this because everyone seems to be talking about this number. I don't get I know why. It's all about reset. Everyone's posting. They want everyone manifesting the reset, guys. And how did God reset the world? He reset the world with water, and he said that he's going to come back and reset the world with fire. So why do you think all this fire stuff? Right? But reset, guys. 67. Water. 67. Satanic. 67. So again, this is the short version of the of the 67s. But anyways, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, John Cena. John Cena retired. And think about how a few days later, Jake Paul has this big fight, right? Well, what if I told you John Cena was on a cover of a look at this, guys. This is wild. John Cena was on a cover of Judgment Day. Let me just show you. Look how crazy this is, guys. Look at this. Here is John Cena, who just retired, on the cover of WWE Judgment Day on May 22nd, 2005. Okay, so let's take a measurement from this date of the Judgment Day with John Cena. Look at the chains, guys. You see the chains? Saturn, cages, chains, blocks, blockchain, like the cryptocurrencies on a blockchain. I'm telling you, the blockchain is coming to the whole world where you're on a blockchain, right? But here's John Cena on the cover of Judgment Day. Now, let's see how many weeks before John Cena retired. Look at this. From Judgment Day with John Cena to the retirement of John Cena on the 13th, exactly 1073 weeks. Well, 1073 is like the number 173, right? Look at the gematria of Judgment Day. Look, right here, guys. He was on the cover of Judgment Day, which equals 173. He retired 1,073 days, which is a lot like that same number, after Judgment Day, which means that Jake Paul and his Judgment Day fight was 173 weeks and 5 days after John Cena was on the Judgment Day. Now, look at how John Cena, not only is he on the Judgment Day cover, he was in that show. He was in a match called the I Quit match. And John Cena quit when he lost his last match to Gunther last week. He gave up for the first time in over 20 years. He tapped out. And you're telling me that his match on the show called Judgment Day was an I Quit match against another John Bradshaw Layfield? I mean, it's just wild how this stuff works, guys. Just absolutely wild. It was exactly 1073 weeks before he retired, and he retired by quitting. And Judgment Day equals 173, and it's 1073 weeks. And then a few days later, we have the Judgment Day between these two boxers. I think I have another one here. Hold on. Oh, check this out, guys. Jake Paul, who was on Judgment Day. So here's the last Judgment Day. May 17th, 2009. Okay, May 17th, 2009. And if you go to Jake Paul's birth and you see how old, because remember Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul was in the match called Judgment Day, right? So what if we measure from Jake Paul's birth, Judgment Day 2009, hold on. Oh, man, why is this so hard to find here? Here it is. Judgment Day 2009, May 17th, right? How old was Jake Paul on this match? Look at this. Jake Paul was exactly 12 years and 4 months old on Judgment Day, this Judgment Day, right here in 2009. He was 12-4, right? Why is that important? Why is 12-4 so important here? Well, look at this. Judgment Day, 124. That's how old Jake Paul was on WWE's Judgment Day. The last one, the 11th and final Judgment Day. And then years later, Jake Paul, who was 12 years and 4 days old on this event, he's in another event called Judgment Day. I mean, just wild, man. Just wild. And check this out, 12 years, 121 days. $121 is the gematria of Revelation, Antichrist, big number as well. Crazy. Well, guys, I'm going to go to the chat now. I'm going to leave this slide up because I think it's a good slide to leave up while we're talking. Wow. Thanks to Decoding Our Reality, he says Eye of Providence equals 86. Washington, D.C. will be 86,000 days old on December 31st. Yeah, we're going to talk about the end of the year. The end of the year is the border. It's the transition, guys. Something is happening between this year and next year. It's a transition. Yeah, Cena was put to sleep, kind of, right? In the chokehold. But I'm going to have a video coming out about December 31st, the end of the year, going into the new year. This year is a huge year, guys. I don't know what to expect on the new year and this year and going into the next year. I don't know what to expect. But I really think that it's a big time, you know. Somebody says in the chat that truly free equals 49, huh? Really? Let's see if that's true. Huh, it is true. Truly free equals 49. Huh. I don't know. I mean, it's one to add to the list for sure. I mean, it's not something I would normally say, but truly free. I mean, you're talking about truly being free, which we aren't truly free. It is interesting. I'll keep that on the list. Buckle up, buttercups. Yeah, that's funny. It's a funny phrase. Shout out to another Paul who's in the chat. Whenever I think of the name Paul, I always think of this Paul because Paul's always talking about the name Paul. And I think that he's, as usual, he's right on here with the Jake, Paul, Anthony, Joshua, Jesus, Jacob on the outside, Jesus on the inside. Yeah. Wrestling with God, right? Jacob. And yes, I guess he's saying my name equals 173, I believe. So I talked a lot about the 173, but yeah, I mean, my name, guys, does equal, that's my main numerology is 173. So I find that interesting. But I mean, that is a big number. And I think there's more to that. The fact that here I am decoding this. And he says Paul, Jesus combined equals 124, like Judgment Day. I mean, Joshua means Jesus, kind of, right? So it's really kind of interesting, actually. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Because it was Jesus, Joshua versus Paul. That's their two last names. Uh, well, look at this. Joshua Paul equals 124 as well. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this 124 comes up a lot in this decode. The word Paul starts with 161, like the golden ratio. PA, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I mean, PA, Pennsylvania, golden ratio. I mean, we could talk about that, but this is not what this stream's about. So, sixth chakra equals 122, like third eye. That's what Bone Jones says. Third eye, sixth chakra. If I can type. Look at this. Sixth chakra also equals 67. Okay. 67. Third eye equals 122, like sixth chakra. And remember, guys, Jake Paul became 12-2. Look at this. What is Jake Paul's record? Well, this isn't updated, but his record is 12-2. Look at this. He went from being 12-1 to 12-2, and again, third eye equals 122. Think about that, guys. That's his record now. So not only does he connect with all these other things that we already talked about, but like the third eye equals his record now. Third eye, 122. And as he said, it was the sixth round, like it was the sixth chakra. And sixth chakra. Look at this, the vision. The vision, the group his brother's in, 122. The vision, the third eye, and the sixth chakra, all connected. And that is Jake Paul's record. This is why he fell to 12-2. He fell to 12-2 in the sixth round with the vision. It's just crazy. That's some good stuff right there. Yes, Jake Paul has Michael Obama's birthday. I know you guys know who I mean when I say Michael Obama. Maybe I'll be nice. I'll call him Michelle or her Michelle for now. But yeah, Jake Paul does have Michelle Obama's birthday. And please stop arguing in the chat. Please stop calling each other out. Let's be respectful, please. Be respectful of Paul, who just sharing, but Paul also be respectful of them, okay? We're not going to have disrespectful. If you guys disagree, that's fine. Here, you're allowed to disagree. You're allowed to disagree with me if you want, even if I prove without a shadow of a doubt that these connections are pretty solid. If you still disagree, that's okay. But the one thing we will not do here is be disrespectful on our disagreements. Why be mean about our disagreements? Of course, we're all going to disagree. It's impossible for us to all agree. But we need to have some sort of good way of talking to each other. Yeah, I know, Sojourn. It's okay. Paul got upset about that. I know you weren't attacking him. We're not attacking each other here, Paul. She wasn't attacking you. Okay. So no one's attacking each other here. Please. Um, I'm not going to say the cuss word here, but this is a funny comment. I bet Big Mike could whoop his butt. Are you talking about Jake Paul's butt? I bet so. I think so. I think you're right. Again, Paul, I think I think Sojourn doesn't want to argue about it. It doesn't matter. It's let's not fight, please. That's all I ask, please. All right, somebody asked if I saw their comment. I did not see your comment or your question. Please repost your question again. And guys, how far into this decode are we? We're almost we're gonna maybe go about 2 hours, so 20 minutes. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it 20 minutes, but please don't forget to hit those like buttons, guys. I think if you guys enjoyed the content and you found this informative, I mean, I think I've proved a lot of reasons why this is all about waking up, the third eye, whatever the world stage is presenting. It seems to be about waking up in the third eye, which isn't a bad thing for once, guys. All these decodes we do, we do need to wake up. And it's true. Please repost your question. What does it all mean? That's your question. Is this the same person? No, it's not the same person. Your question is, what does it all mean? Well, what it means is that we live in a world of everything is connected. Everything is part of one big riddle, one big world. And if you're asking what it means we do need to wake up. We do need to understand that these things are happening. We need to understand that we can be truly free in Christ, and we can be truly ready, and we can have true vision. So I think, what does it all mean? It means my work and my decodes are never meant to make you stop going on your path that God has you on. Whatever the path God has you on, you need to have discernment. My decodes are just here, hopefully, to show you that what's going on around you is a stage. It's symbolism. Okay, the whole world is a symbol. So that answers your question. My whole thing about this channel is showing how everything goes together, and hopefully that helps you on your journey to understand what God has for you on your path, because I can never tell you that. Okay, so we got the comment from Hopeful Elect. Let me find the comment. Yeah, a watchman, exactly. Watchman, eye, vision. Was that your question, or did I miss it again? Oh, here's the comment. Dave Chappelle dropped his special during the same night of the fight. Did you see it? He mentioned Charlie Kirk during the special and wore a Colin Kaepernick jersey. Are you kidding me? No, I didn't see that. I did not see that. Dave Chappelle had a special last night where he talked about Charlie Kirk and wore a Kaepernick shirt. Well, that connects to everything that happened this year. We had the death of Neeland, the football player who died on right after Kaepernick's birthday, and Kaepernick was kneeling. Let's just pull it up and see if I can find it. Dave Chappelle, Kaepernick Kaepernick reminds me a little bit of old Saint Nick, right? Okay, so this must be the show. It's called The Unstoppable. And yeah, he's wearing a Colin Kaepernick shirt. Facing a world gone sideways, comedy icon Dave Chappelle delivers bold truths and potent punchlines. Well, what does The Unstoppable equal? Did I spell that right? 2 P's, able. Yep. The Unstoppable. Well, I just have to laugh because New World Order. I mean, guys, I don't know. I mean, you never know with these people, but we're talking about this new vision, this vision for the future. I mean, the show equals New World Order. Is that what they're saying is unstoppable? Because it seems like we're closer and closer to it as the days go by. I don't know. I just found that interesting. And don't forget, last night. Okay, well, this actually connects because last night, Jake Paul, look at this. Jake Paul wore Hulk Hogan. Look. Guys, this has to be this connection here. Jake Paul wore Hulk Hogan. And Hulk Hogan died this year, of course, but he was part of the New World Order. Huh. Seems like I made a pretty interesting connection there on the fly, didn't I? Dave Chappelle releasing his The Unstoppable on the same night as Jake Paul dresses up as Hulk Hogan. And The Unstoppable equals New World Order, and Hulk Hogan was in the New World Order. That seems to be it. I would say that's pretty clear. That seems to be pretty perfect pieces. The Unstoppable New World Order. I mean, it's a 2-cipher match, right? So it's not just one. You know, and the other thing is with this, the 174. I know there's other things. I'm too tired right now to go through all this. I'm about ready to wrap this up. Any final comments, guys? You got 5 minutes. Please get in your comments or questions. Joseph Aquaviva, we see you, brother. Good to see you. We see you. I guess you're not like John Cena, are you, brother? We can see you, Joseph. Just don't. We haven't seen you a lot lately. You haven't made any videos, but you are a bit like John Cena, aren't you? We can't see you lately. Yeah, the Unstoppables. There's a comic called The Unstoppables. I know that. Please remember hit the like button. Sojourn reminding everyone. Thank you. All right, guys, 5 minutes. Yeah, nice to see you, Joseph. We see you, brother. I don't know if you're still in here, hopefully. We don't actually see you, but we're talking. Nice to talk to you. How about that? Nice to talk to all of you. Thank you to everyone. Joseph also wrote that Hulk Hogan is like HH, right? And Joseph also shared with me, and this is something that I could touch on. Greg Biffle, who died in that plane crash, check out the gematria of his full name, Gregory Jack Biffle. That's the good old 88, guys. Look at this. Gregory Jack Biffle equals Jacob Benjamin Gyllenhaal. So again, Gregory Jack Biffle died one day in a plane crash, one day before Jacob Benjamin Gyllenhaal's birthday, 88, same cipher. Of course, Gregory Biff, Back to the Future, Jake Gyllenhaal, Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko, Back to the Future, very connected movies, guys. Those two movies are like two peas in a pod. The numbers on Donnie Darko's arm add up to 88. Trump equals 88. Biff is modeled after Trump. 88 miles per hour, all that stuff, right? So that's just another great connection. Thank you, Joseph, for actually pointing that out. Yeah, Biff Tannen, his fictional birthday, he would be 88 years old. If you measured from Biff Tannen's fictional birthday to right now, he'd be 88 years old, which is also the same age as the Golden Gate Bridge. Funny enough. When was Biff Tannen born? Hold on, let me check this. Guys, oh my, I forgot this, man. Gosh, oh my goodness. Biff Tannen's birthday is on the bridge collapse. Remember how the bridge collapsed on March 26th in Baltimore? Well, that's the birthday of Biff Tannen in the movie. And he's born in the year 1937. And the Golden Gate Bridge was constructed and finished in 1937. Wow. Okay, so Biff Tannen is a bridge connection. Let's see how old Biff is, because I think we're going to find a clue here. So on the day of the fight, Biff Tannen was, well, on the day of the crash. Check this out, guys. Look at this. Biff Tannen was 88 years, 267 days. Guys, the Golden Gate sits at 267 degrees. Again, this is all about the bridges. Golden Gate at 267 degrees in astrology. So guys, this is very important. The Golden Gate in astrology is located at the 267th degree. On the day that Biffle died, Biff Tannen was 88 years, 267. Guys, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Because now is the time of the year where the Golden Gate is aligned with our solar system. The astrological Golden Gate, I'm not talking about the bridge. The 267th degree of the zodiac is Sagittarius, which is what we were in when this happened. Golden Gate of the ecliptic. 267 degrees in Sagittarius. Man, where do I find this? I wish that Bobby Simpson was here because he could remind me. Guys, this is like really crazy. I know I'm being a bit confusing with this, but that's because I can't remember all the details. Sirius A, or Sagittarius A. But all I'm saying, guys, is this is absolutely huge that Biff Tannen was 88 years, 267 days. This is the location of the Golden Gate in the astrology right now. This is happening right as the Golden Gate of the ecliptic, the galaxy in Sagittarius is aligned with Earth, right? This is a huge find. And forget this, that Biff Tannen's birthday is the bridge collapse. Not the Baltimore. Biff actor and Biff birthdays are 8 months, 8 days apart. That's what Franchot Blue found. The former North Carolina governor died same day as Biffle at 88, day before Trump went to North Carolina. Wow. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I know I was only supposed to give you 5 minutes, but this is some crazy. I know you guys probably don't understand the significance of this, but this is very significant. This is a huge Golden Gate ecliptic bridge riddle with Biff Tannen. Biff Tannen is seemingly connected to this Golden Gate Bridge thing. All right, so let me explain my theory about this. So everything that's connecting right now at the end of the year, it's pointing to a transition period from the last day of the year to the next day, the first day of the next year. This is the bridge, guys. The bridge from one year to the next year. Everything seems to be correlating around this year's December 31st going into December 1st. I want you to notice the age of Biff Tannen if he was born. Look at the palindrome. The palindrome of Biff's age on the last day of the year going into the first day of next year is 324, 432. Now, this is the number 324 forward and backwards. This is a huge number right now because 324 is the age of Yale Skull and Bones at this moment. Also, 324 is the birthday of The Undertaker in WWE. I'm not going to get into all that, but man, I just don't know what to say sometimes. So Biff Tannen's 87th birthday was the collapse of the Key Bridge. Wait, so it was, guys, it was the start of the 88th year of his life. Biff Tannen, the character in the movie, started his 88th year of life on the bridge collapse. Because as soon as you finish your 87 year, you start your 88th year. So technically, he started his 88th year of life on the bridge collapse. That was his birthday. So that this year was his 88th birthday, Just like the Golden Gate Bridge, right? Man, it's just so crazy. Man, my mind is blown, guys, but I'm not going to keep sitting on here and saying man over and over again. Dr. Savage is in the chat. So I'm glad Dr. Savage is in the chat because Dr. Savage, tomorrow, what time would you like to do a stream about some of your findings? I want to have Dr. Savage on. I know I said the weekend, and I was busy with this stream today, so I wanted to get Dr. Savage on this weekend. So let's try to plan this stream for tomorrow right now, since you're here. And I know Dr. Savage has stuff to share, and he's sharing it right now, but maybe keep some of your stuff for tomorrow, brother. I know you got plenty of stuff. But I'd like to see what you have to say about the Super Bowl, about your organic stuff, of course. Anything else you want to share? Also, so guys, what time works for all you guys? Dr. Savage says, what time works for you? Probably about right now. Like because it's 11 p.m. here where I'm at. And I would think if I can start the stream with you around 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. my time, what time is it where you're at right now? I think it should be 5, or is it 4? Okay, so right now is 3 p.m. for you, and this is a good time for you tomorrow, 3 p.m., which is the time right now, or is 10 p.m. 3 p.m.? Because are you 7 hours behind? Okay, so 3 p.m. your time, which is 10 p.m. my time. Got it. I got it now. Okay, guys, tomorrow at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Yeah, okay, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Or wait, are you in Central time, Dr. Savage? Let me try to get this right. For those of you on the East Coast, I think Dr. Savage is in Central time. Or am I wrong about that too? I don't know. Okay, yeah, so here's the times tomorrow, guys. 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, and 11 p.m. German time where I'm at. Or 10 p.m., sorry. So we got that down. Tomorrow, Dr. Savage, a new guest who I've wanted to have on for a while. We're going to finally do it tomorrow at 3 or 2 p.m. Eastern, okay? All right, let's wrap this up for tonight. Yeah, I thought Chicagoland was the Central time. That's why I was thinking, so. Yes, glad to be able to get Dr. Savage on there. Joseph says Janus bifrons is the Latin epithet for the Roman god Janus, the deity of beginnings and endings, transitions, and oh my goodness, Joseph, you just blew this wide open. My whole theory was about this, transitions and doorways and borders, and you're telling me that Janus bifrons. Yeah, right here, the Janus bifrons. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, this ties Biff into the Janus. Abraxas. This is about Abraxas too. Abraxas is the 365 days of the year. Sirius is also connected into the last day of the year. There's so much connecting, guys. But I can't. Obviously, I can't. something I feel like something big is coming in the year, the transition of the year. Oh my goodness. Janice Biffrens equals 49 and 77. This is the number I talked about the whole stream, guys. What the heck? Look at this. I literally had all these. This was like literally my main numbers. And it just happens to be that Janice Biffrens equals the same numbers, 49.77. I don't know how that connects with the third eye. Maybe seeing better. I don't know. Yeah, Dr. Savage, the bridge and the XRP connection. Yeah, exactly. I think there's going to be a market crash and then a new economy, guy, a new system. I think that's the transition that we're about ready to see. That's personally what I'm leaning towards. All right, let's go. 2 hours and 6 minutes in. Let's wrap this up. If you guys enjoyed the content, please hit the like button on your way out. If you enjoyed it, you don't have to hit it otherwise. If you would like to support the channel, buymeacoffee.com/decodingwithcody. It's linked at the top of this chat in the white link. It's right there if that's what you guys want to do. Thank you all so much for supporting this channel and for being great additions. Every single one of you is amazing, man. All you guys are so good. And with that being said, stay tuned for tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I will have Dr. Savage, his first time on the channel. Not his first time. I think he's been on here before, but we have Dr. Savage tomorrow. This guy right here. So go subscribe to Dr. Savage 84. And can't wait to see you tomorrow, Dr. Savage. And can't wait to see you all else in the chat. And God bless you all. I will see you guys tomorrow.